Hi, welcome to this series, and we are on part 3 of 3 of the Seint brush tutorial series. And this one here, I'm going to be sharing, I think, 5 different brushes, and they're going to be brushes that mostly we would use around our eyes, but some of them are more multitasking brushes. So let's get into it. If you're new and haven't met me, my name's Karen, and I am a mature makeup artist with the company called Seint, which is a cream foundation system that is housed in a palette. It's all in one. And if you're interested in what I'm doing at any time and want to know more about the makeup I'm wearing or what I'm doing, just comment match below or send me a private message. I would love to do that and help you with it. So first thing we're going to do is let me show you the rundown of the 5 brushes I'm going to be sharing about today. So the first one is this eyeshadow brush. It's double-ended. It's amazing for doing your full eyeshadow application. It's probably, if I had to only own one eyeshadow brush, this would be the one I would get. So we're going to talk about the eyeshadow brush. We're going to also go over this brush here. It's called the line brush. It actually has a spoolie on one end and an angled, smaller tip on the other. So we will talk about all the fun ways that you would want to use the line brush to do everything from your brows to liner to all sorts of stuff. I'll tell you more. All right, the next brush is brand new. And you may not have this brush, but if you do, you're gonna love it. And if you don't have it, you're gonna want it. It's called the Etch Brush, Etch, E-T-C-H. And it has a very thin, squared off brush that is great for tight lining, for stamping on liner, for applying your liner. Isn't that great? I could even think of different things. You could probably even use this to contour your nose. I mean, it's endless. Then this end here is more domed, but it's still very thin, and it's really great for smudging out your eyeliner. You can even use it to fill in your brows. Why am I telling all of you this already? I need to just show you here in a minute. So that's the third brush. The fourth brush we're going to talk about is the opposite of like this one. This is a nice big brush for eyes and a lot of different applications, and it's called the Smudge Brush. We're going to show you how to use this one. And then the final brush is called the Multitasker. And this brush here has a nice fine end here that's kind of more pointed a little bit, nice and thin. And then this end here is more domed, but still pretty thin and nicely packed. So those are the 5 brushes, and I'm going to get started right now. So if you're interested, stay right here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our brows. Currently, I just have a little bit of my 3D foundation on, which is the makeup I use, my contour, some of my main shade, lip and cheek, or not lips, but cheek color, which is from Lip and Cheek, color corrector. I don't have any brightener on because I'm going to show you how I can use some of the brushes to apply my brightener, or you may call it your concealer. So the first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to deal with these brows. So I am going to start by just combing through them a bit with the spoolie, which is so great to do. And I'm going to be using brow wax. And brow wax is really awesome. It's like brow soap or whatnot, but brow wax comes in a tin like this. And it usually when you get it, it looks very clear. Mine's been used a lot, but it'll be hard and it looks like there's nothing in there. I've got messages like, there's nothing in it. My brow wax is empty. Well, it's just a clear wax, and we're going to activate it with the spoolie to load the spoolie up with some wax on it. And we will kind of just work on our brows on this side, and then I'll show you how you can actually line and fill your brows on this side and use the brow wax. So let me show you how brow wax works first. You do want to activate it. So you can either put a little bit of water in here. I just grab my setting spray because it's made for your face, and I'll just dribble a little bit in there here. Take the spoolie end of this brush, and I start to rub it into the wax, and you just kind of start swirling over the top. And what'll happen, if you need to add more of a liquid, just add some more, and it activates the wax and it starts to coat the brush, and you can feel that and see it too, that it's starting to get on here. So if you just have great brows, you like a natural brow, you don't need to worry about lining them or filling them in, you can actually just take this brush and just brush down to load a little wax in them, and then I like to go back and brush them up. And this will just help kind of control those brows, set them where you want them. You can go across the top here and kind of give them a little bit of a shape, or if you like more of the kind of the straight up with the hairs going straight up, you can leave them like that. I like to kind of just take them down a bit like that. And that will actually just give your natural brow some shape and some control throughout the day. Now, if you have brows that need to be filled in or lined, then let's do that first, and then we'll put the brow wax over the top. So the other side of this brush, of the line brush, is a nice lining brush. Like I said, it's at an angle, so it's great for brows. So you can do your brows a couple different ways. You can actually, if your contour shade is a shade that works nicely with your brow color that you want, you can actually line and fill in your brows with your contour shade. You would just take this end of the brush, kind of just lightly tapping it. I kind of tap all three sides. So I tap it, tap, and then I do the top. And I can come in and start just lining and filling in areas of my brows where maybe I need a little extra. Maybe they're a little patchy. And so we're just kind of going through and doing that. Or if the contour color isn't quite the color that you want or you're going for, you can actually use an eyeshadow, a matte eyeshadow that you like. And so what we would do is take that same brush and just dampen it a bit. So I'll just put a little bit of my setting spray again in here and just kind of dampen my brush, or you could get it wet with a little bit of water. And then find an eyeshadow shade that complements your brow color that you want. Take that brush again, and again, I just very gently go tap on the sides and then straight down. So I'm kind of loading the brush all the way around. And then same thing, I can come in and line, look at that, the bottom of my brows. I can create a little bit of a tail. I can go back in and tap some more on if I need to. I can turn the brush vertically. And here, let me get, I'm trying to look in the mirror and do this without, okay, vertically like this, and just go straight up, like create little micro hairs or little strokes of hair. I don't know if they're micro hairs, but they really do make them nice and thin. You see that there when you turn the brush vertically? And then I can go back and just lightly kind of go over that with the spoolie. But then if I want to set those brows with some brow wax, I will go back to my brow wax. And if I need to, I'll add a little bit more of a liquid to it, whether it be setting spray or just a little water. Just put a little bit more on my brush, the spoolie end like that. And then I'll go in, instead of brushing down though, I'm just gonna lightly brush into those and towards the end here. And if I don't have a whole lot of hair, I'm not gonna brush because I really don't have any, but I'm actually just gonna take and press a little wax over the end where I have added some color to give those brows a nice definition. So look at the difference between just a natural brow that I put wax in only, and then a brow that I actually went in and filled and lined. Makes a big difference, right? Okay, so the line brush is really great. You can also use this end of the brush to line your eyes if you want to. You can line them. It is a little pointy, so be careful that you're very gentle around your eyes when you do that. And some gals even use it to line their lips. Like I said, I like to keep one brush that is for eyes and face only, and then one brush that would be for lips. So if I were to do that, I would probably have two of these to keep it separate. So that's the line brush, okay? So any questions about that? Let me know in the comments here. By the way, if you just joined on, we're gonna be talking about brushes today. We're covering 5 brushes. This is part 3 of 3. So if you missed part 1 and 2, you can go back and look for that, or you can comment, what is that, where there's a code where you can get all 3 of the tutorials once I'm done with this one, sent to you in a document, like a free little resource that'll have all the 3 tutorial videos, all the tips and information in it, and what I've used, all the colors. And that one, I'll find it for us and I'll tell us at the end, because I can't remember now. What's new, right? But anyway, let me know if you do your brows and if you find that doing your brows makes a difference. Let us know. Yeah, I think it really does. Okay, so the next brush we're gonna do is the eyeshadow brush. So I started with my brows, and I did already put mascara on. A lot of times I put my mascara on first. It's just something I do. I like it. I think it sets it, and I don't get smudging and I don't get mess from the mascara. But let's go ahead and talk about the eyeshadow brush. So this is also a double-ended brush. This side here is a nice loose blending brush, an application brush. It's a little tighter at the bottom, and then it flutes out and it's a little bit looser. It's really nice. Where this end is shorter and much more dense. It almost reminds me of like the end of a pencil, like a pencil eraser. And so this is great for packing in color, for also smudging and getting more pigment color in an area that you need it. So we're going to start with this end of the brush, and I'm going to show you, if you are someone that primes your eyelids with a little bit of your cream color corrector shade, which is what I love to do because it really filters out. Take a little bit of my cream shade to color correct my lids, and it really filters out a lot of that bluish purple, the veins I have, and a lot of that discoloration to neutralize. But we don't want to apply eyeshadow directly over that cream, so you're going to want to either put an eyeshadow primer, but I don't like to have several products. I want to use as much as I can out of my palette. It's my 3D palette, so I'll just take the eyeshadow brush, a little bit of translucent setting powder, just kind of swirl into it a bit, and then I'll come over here and just press that all over my lid. I kind of keeping it more flat, and go all the way up to your brow bone and just prime and set that cream makeup so that when you go to apply eyeshadow, which by the way, the majority of our eyeshadows are all beautifully highly pigmented eyeshadows, they're going to just blend and sit so nicely on top of a nice primed eyelid. There we go. So that's one way we can use it as well. So now actually applying eyeshadow with this brush, I like to use this end here for applying my crease and my kind of outer corner and crease, and also for the lid. So I think what we'll do first is I'm just going to show you just this nice neutral shade here. I'm going to pick a little bit up, just pouncing over, and then tap off the excess, and I'm just going to apply that right to my lid. It's just a nice neutral lid shade just to kind of get us started out. And when you if you're interested in knowing exactly what the colors I'm using, this one here is called Pup, P-U-P, and it's a Seint eyeshadow. It's a nice neutral. So I just pressed that on my lid, kind of right into the crease, just as a nice lid shade. That's really pretty, a nice neutral shade that I could just wear like this and be done for the day. But next shade that I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same end of the brush, and I'm going to pick up, let's see, I think I'll do this shade here, like a little transition shade. And so this shade I'm going to pick up and tap off the excess, and this is going to go in my natural crease. So I'm going to tip my head back and press that right there in the crease, and then I'm just going to start pressing that across, and I can push that right in, even with this brush, right into that natural crease. Now, if you have more hooded eyes and you look forward and then you can't really look at that, you can't see any of that color because it's all right up in there, then we're going to just load a little more, and we first packed it in the natural crease, but then we're going to tip our head down, and then we're going to actually take this brush and just tap and press it on the faux crease that we're creating, which is a little bit higher up on our brow bone. So now, instead of it being all buried up in under here, we can actually see by looking straight ahead. We're going to tap. Now, if you don't have textured eyes and your eyes are more smooth and don't have as much texture, or they're not as thin, then you can actually, you don't have to do the pressing motion. You can actually do more of this little kind of sweeping. I like to do a half sweep, not a full windshield wiper sweep, because I want to avoid coming outside of this area, but you could do the same thing up here. You can just kind of bring that over. And if you're very controlled and you don't mind being careful not to windshield wiper down way here where you pull the color down, then you could do that as well. So it just depends on your skin and your face on how you apply. But this is just a really great brush for applying the lid shade and for also applying this in your crease. And then another nice thing about it is that it diffuses color really nicely. So you can take and just flick that brow color up towards your brow, end of your eyebrow. You can even flick it out this way to give a little lift. So that's really nice. Isn't that easy to do? So this brush is great for that. And again, I'm just sticking it right in there, and I'm just going to go really quick to do this side. So I'm going to pop it in. And this one here, I'll show you instead of pressing, then I'm just going to do the half, kind of a half windshield wiper, keeping my head back so I can see where my crease is. And I think this is a great way to apply your eyeshadow even if you don't have hooded eyes, and then tip, because they will be someday. No, I don't want to scare you. But then I'll tilt my head down and I'll just put a little bit here to match the other side. And just pull some over. You can also take that color with this brush and pull it down. So you could take and pull it down towards the outer point. Also, if you just wanted to do a 2 eyeshadow look, you can use this transition shade and build up that color just by applying more and pulling it down as well, doing a little bit of layering. So it's really, really easy. This end of the eyeshadow brush is great for packing in more pigment. So let's say I wanted to, what do I want to do? Let's just say I wanted to use this same color, but I wanted to intensify it more. So I'm just going to take this end and I'm going to tap into it, load it up. And I want this now to really build in this outer V. So I'm going to tap in and I'm going to tap, tap, press, and just continue to press that color. And look at how that starts to intensify the color because of the brush is more dense. And so when you have a much more dense brush, it picks up more pigment, picks up more product. And then when you press a brush, even on your eyes, it also applies more product compared to doing more of a flicking or even a windshield wipering. So the brush matters of how much color you get and also the way you apply it, the application, whether you're packing it in or pressing it on versus doing more of a flicking or a little swiping, okay? So eyeshadow brush is really, really great. You can also take this to go underneath to do a little smudging if you'd like, a much fuller smudging. You could take the top of this if you wanted to and apply a different color. So I could take this shimmer shade, this dark shimmer shade, and press a little bit in here and do just a really smoky, a nice smoky lid kind of liner. So I'm just taking, I have to hold my eye just very gently because my lids are a little bit thinner. My skin is moves a lot more because it is thinner, but just picking up a little bit of that color. I'm not going to do this side because I want to show you a different brush over there, but you can create a very nice smoky kind of smudgy liner with the other side of the eyeshadow brush, and you could take it under as well. Like that, okay? So very, very nice, easy brush, great for doing your full eyeshadow look. That's the eyeshadow brush. All right, any questions about that one? Easy. Love double-ended brushes as well. I think they're such a great value when you have a brush that actually isn't just one-ended. Really nice, really great to have that. So the next brush we're going to do is a brand new brush, and it is, like I said, called the Etch Brush. And this is a great brush. It's brand new, and it has this smaller kind of domed end, and then it has a squared off thinner end. So I'm going to use this brush actually to line this side here with some dark brown eyeliner, the same color I used in my brows over here. And I'm going to just take and tap it in to a nice color that I like. I'm tapping vertically right here to catch most of the color. Can you see that there? Right on that edge, right on the flat edge. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to just come down and just little tiny, almost like little sketchy, just sketch, sketch, sketch right along those lashes. I'm lining very thinly, a nice thin line for eyelining, okay? A nice one. Another thing you can do is actually take this brush and get it just a little bit damp like we did kind of with the eyeliner brush. I'm just going to tap. There's a little bit of setting spray in here, not very much, but I'm just getting it barely damp just to make this eyeshadow a little bit more like a cream consistency. It's not a wet, like a wet liner, but something a little bit more cream-like. And I can actually bring this up, and I have to do this carefully, but tight line right along the bottom of those lashes. So I'm going to put a little bit more on there and just wiggle that right in, not on the actual white part of my eye, but actually into the lashes themselves. And look at the difference on how much darker and kind of a little more intense these lashes look, and a lot thicker, don't they, on this side than over here. You can also take that same brush and I can take and draw. So now that it's damp, I can actually take and draw a little, let me get a little more color on here. Just take and kind of draw out just a little wing, like right there. You see that there? And I can just bring it in and then just bring it out. So that's a nice way to just do a very simple little wing, a little lift there. But look at the difference. That's really, really cool. Now, this end of the brush, I can do a softer, smudgy liner. a lot like what I did with the eyeliner brush, but I'm going to have much more control, and I can make it a lot thinner because of the difference between the shapes on these two of this. So I'm going to take this brown color and dip into it. Again, I like to go kind of on the surface of it, right along those edges. And over here, I will just come in and create a nice thinner smudgy liner. Much more thinner, but still very, very soft compared to like a black liquid eyeliner or any liquid eyeliner. It's just very soft. And I can take that same color and go underneath and have much more of a controlled smudge underneath my lashes as well. So just coming underneath here and just run it back and forth and just really nice even smudge. I love this because I've always had such a hard time not getting too messy with my smudging on this side, but look at how easy that is to do, and it makes such a nice liner as well. Another thing you can do is actually, since this color was kind of the same color that I was using for my brows, is you could take this end here. If you want to fill in larger parts of your brow, you can actually come up and just color your brows with a little bit of your color that you like to use for your brows as well, and that's just an eyeshadow. So this is the Etch Brush. I love it. It's so great. It's going to be a nice brush, like I say, for doing lining and just a little cat's eye, really simple, and tight lining as well underneath. So that is the Etch Brush. How many of you line your eyes and like to use eyeliner? It's a lot of fun. I think it really defines the eyes. A little tip, I like to not take my eyeliner all the way into the inner corner, but that's another, you can do that if you really love that intense look, but I like to actually stop about, I don't know, about 3/4 of the way and just line. You can line your upper, lower, you can only line your upper. It's just up to you what you prefer. Okay, so the next brush we're gonna cover is brush number 4. Look at us going along. So this brush is called the Smudge Brush. And this is, it's an eyeshadow brush, but you can also use it for a lot of other things as well. So let me kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. So this end here is a little bit more like a paddle. It's thinner, and then it kind of domes out in a little kind of rounded shape. And then this end is more like a large pencil eraser, like on the erasers on the great big huge pencils you used in first grade, you know, the big ones, but it looks like a really big eraser. It's a little bit domed at the top, and it's much more compact too. So this is a great brush for picking up and getting a lot of pigment on your face, and because they are very dense, and it's nice because they're smaller, so they can get into smaller areas. So a couple different things we can use it for. So on our eyes, we can use the rounded end to apply eyeshadow if we wanted to. So we can actually take, doesn't really matter, this end I like to do here, but you can pack in eyeshadow with this brush. One of the things I like to do, which is a lot of fun, is take some of this sheer cream. This is called balm. Mine's looking a little messy here, but I can pick up a little bit of that balm and put it on the back of my hand, and then I can pick a color that I like. So let's say we wanted to turn this color into a cream eyeshadow. So I could pick up some on my brush and then mix it with this sheer balm on the back of my hand. Let me get a little bit more here. Get a little more color. You see that there? And now I can come in and actually create a cream eyeshadow and just press that right on. Isn't that pretty? So that makes a really pretty eyeshadow. Let me get this mixed in a little bit more. So if you prefer cream eyeshadows, you can actually mix and create your own. By just taking, this is a product that we call balm. It's like I said, a sheer cream, and you can use this mixed with any powder eyeshadows to create your own custom cream shades. It's a really fun way to do that. You can do it with the shimmer shades, you can do it with the matte shades. So if you prefer a cream eyeshadow, you know, you can have a powder and a cream, and this is a great brush for mixing that and applying it. This end of the brush, it's a little bit more, it's the smaller domed end. This one is also great for doing, you know, some really smudging. So let's say I had all this on and I really wanted to get in and just really smudge it together or just soften that up or make it a little more smoky, I can use the brush to blend it. I also like to use this end to apply, oh gosh, if I wanted to use bronzer as my eyeshadow, again, you know, using some of our cream products like our bronzer as eyeshadow makes it, again, much more versatile for all of that. You can also use this brush. I'm just going to kind of wipe it off for a second. I'm going to pick up a little bit of my brightener. Okay, so this is a nice brush. I can just tap into a little bit of my brightener shade or color corrector, not color corrector, concealer shade, but I'm just gonna very lightly, it's a great small brush for getting into smaller areas. So I can pop a little bit of a color corrector, or why do I keep saying that? My brightener shade, this one here. Let's say I wanted to add some out here. Again, it's just a nice smaller application. It gives me a little bit more control. I can even tap it down the bridge of my nose. Just very nice, easy way to do that. And you can then just kind of keep taking the brush if you're in small areas and just pat. A lot of times I'll just take and blend in with my finger, the warmth of my finger, just start tapping to warm up that cream. These are cream makeups that I'm using. You can also just take the brush and very lightly kind of pounce and press over and press it in. So you can use this brush as a face cream makeup brush as well in smaller areas. And you can use it, sometimes you've seen gals maybe draw it on, like I did down my nose here, and then blend it in with a larger blending brush. So lots of different ways that you can use this brush. I think you can start to see that there's a lot of ways to use these brushes. Double-ended brushes are so versatile because you just got to start thinking outside the box of all the ways you can use them. Let me see here. Smudge Brush, Smudge Brush. I think we got, I mean, I'm sure there are a ton of other ways, but this is a nice brush. And even if you are someone that wants a little bit more of a controlled contour, like you really want just to draw on a contour and you want it very precise, you could actually take either end of these brushes and dip it into your contour shade. And this is a, like I say, a cream contour. And then if you want a much more controlled, you can actually just kind of come in and draw your contour right where you want it. So this would give you a much more controlled, a much thinner contour. And then of course you're going to want to go in with one of your blending brushes and blend that contour up. Let me grab just a little brush to do that. Just kind of blend over and pull that up a little bit. But that would give you a little more precise, and same thing, you could even use this end, this kind of more of that domed end, just catch the top of it. And you could come down and apply it pretty straight, pretty nice, especially if you keep it to do a nose contour. If you just use the tip of it, whoops, let me face this way so you can see what I'm doing. And just small little lines, just kind of almost sketching. And then a lot of times I'll just pounce over the edges of it or your finger to soften those. So lots of different ways to use these brushes, right? I think you're getting the drift. All right, last brush we are going to talk about is the Multitasker Brush. And it is such a great brush and does so many things that I actually have two of them. I like to keep one that is more for my eyes and, you know, doing my eye or maybe face makeup, and then one that is more for my lips, and keeping those two separate. Or if you just have one brush, make sure you clean them off before going in. So let's do the line one, the face and eye first. So the Multitasker is more of a, it's kind of also paddle shaped, but it's much more dense and it's a lot thinner. And then this end is kind of like a nice, almost little pointy end, and then thinner here. So you can see how nice that is. So this, for your eyes, you can do so many different things. I mean, we can line it. So again, it can be an eyeliner, right? We can line our eyes with it, the smaller end. We can take this end, is really great for packing in. If you don't like to apply shimmer eyeshadow with your finger, which is a great way to apply shimmer, is you can actually press your finger into a shimmer shade and press it on. But this kind of mimics almost the pad of your finger. So you could take and press this into a shimmer shade to load it, and then come in and press that on your eyelid to apply shimmer or any other shade that you really want to press on. Pressing on shadows, especially shimmer shadows on more textured eyes, really helps because it presses that color in, and you're not trying to brush it on over the top of maybe some crepey or thinner skin that tends to pull, or that color jumps over it. So pressing it in really helps it not look crepey, and it makes it look not patchy, and it really gets it nice. So isn't that a nice way to apply that? So you can do it that way. Let me see, I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah, isn't that a great brush? I agree, I love this brush. It's a very good brush. So eyes. Oh, you can also use the smaller end like we did with some of the other brushes, is you can fill in brows with this brush. You can either fill it in with your a matte eyeshadow, or we also worked on cream contour. So versatile. It just kind of blows my mind every time I think about how multitasking not just this brush is, but how multitasking and multi-purpose this makeup is. And again, this is Seint cream makeup. I just love that all of these products can be used for, it's not a one product. It's not like this is liquid foundation and that's all you use it for. This can be my color corrector. It can be an eyelid primer. It can be, it could be my foundation. It can be so many things, like this is my contour. Well, this isn't just contour. It can be my contour. It can fill in my brows. It can be an eyeshadow. It can line the bottom of my lips. There's so many things you can do. So speaking of that, let's switch over to the brush, the Multitasker, but I'm going to grab the one that I use for my lips, and I can use this one even on my face if I wanted to. So let me do that first. So I'm going to grab a little bit. So what about smaller blemishes and little areas like sunspots and age spots? So I can use this tiny little brush if I needed to. And if I needed to like camouflage like a little tiny area, I can pick up a little bit of a color corrector shade, tap in just a bit, and just tap over. Just hitting just the area that I want to conceal. So small brushes are so nice to have. Look at that. Look at that. My mole's gone. All right, here, my sunspot, same thing. I'm going to just tap into my color corrector cream shade, and I'll just come in and just kind of hit a few spots. Take my finger. I can even take this larger end to diffuse it and just kind of break up a little bit of that color. I can use the bigger end if it's a little bigger area. So I'm just going through. Let me hit those. Here's a couple other little sunspots. So you can see what a multitasking brush this can be, not only for eyes, but for getting smaller blemishes or areas that you need to color correct. Also, it's great for your lips. So like I said, I try to keep one separate for my eyes and one for my face and lips, but it's great for lining your lips, and it's great for applying lip color. So we can actually use this, and here, if I wanted to contour underneath the bottom of my lip, I'll just pick up a little color, again, take my contour, and I'm just gonna tap in so it just catches along the edge so I can almost draw with it, and I'm gonna come underneath and line here, just to kind of contour and add a shadow on my bottom lip. And then I can take the brush and tap in and pick up a little color. This is a beautiful color. I think this one is, I think it's pink grapefruit or baby watermelon. I'll have it listed in my resource, my free resource, but I can come in and line, or fill, I should say. Fill my lip color in and take a little more time doing that. Be a little bit more precise. You could take also this end and line your lips with it. Usually you do that beforehand, but I rarely ever line my lips. Don't tell anybody. I should, because I don't have very big lips. But let's say I wanted to line them with, I could line them with bronzer. I could line them with like a lip liner. I kind of did, it's not really lining, but I did the contour underneath. But you could line your lips with this as well. But I like, to take your time and fill your lip color in with this brush is really nice. Gives you a little bit more pigment as well, because we're pressing it on with a brush that's a little bit more dense, right? So that helps a lot. Let's see, questions for me as I'm finishing up here. I'm going to review and go over again everything. So let's see, lips. Yes, I am here answering questions live. I'm messaging you as we're going along. So trying to keep up with those. The nice thing is that this is a live message. I'm messaging live as we're going along. So I think it's a really great way for me to really concentrate on teaching you and showing you the different tutorials of all the different brushes. But then I'm right down here in the chat live answering you and giving you more information. So keep those comments and questions coming. And then when I'm done here with the live, I will save it as a replay so you can continue to comment and ask questions, and I will get back to you. And going over the brushes that we used, just really quick again, the first brush that we did was this one here called the line brush. We did that for our brows, and you can line with it. You can do brow wax with it. Then the double-ended eyeshadow brush, really great, universal, wonderful brush to do a full eyeshadow look. This is our brand new brush. It's called the Etch Brush, E-T-C-H. It's brand new for us. It's got a very nice thin, squared off, great for lining, great for tight lining, and then a more rounded brush, a very nice precise smudging brush. It's so awesome. I love this brush. And then we talked about the Smudge Brush. It's kind of the opposite of that Etch Brush, a much bigger brush with larger, more compact ends that you can do so many things with, from adding brightener to tighter areas, down your nose, contouring, and then you can even use it to make your own cream eyeshadows, packing that color in. So that's the Smudge Brush. And then finally, we were able to use the Multitasker, and you can use this for eyes, for your face, for your lips. It's really a multitasking brush, and it's perfect for this multitasking makeup. So just to recap, my name's Karen. Thank you so much for catching. This is part 3 of 3 in the brush series. And if you missed part 1 and 2, you can go back and catch those. They're on my feed or my page here. This is all cream 3D foundation. If it's something that you are interested in and want to know more, just comment the word match, M-A-T-C-H, and I will send you information on how to get just a free, fast, easy color match. Find out what shades work best for you. And then I will have a resource that has all 3 of the brushes, the brush tutorials series, all of it in it, and I will put that in the caption. So I'm going to make you go read the caption on this one to find out what to comment to get that free resource sent to you. So thanks so much again for following along and for catching this series. I appreciate you, and I will catch you next time we do something fun like this. Have a great day.